Firstly, thanks so much for Joe and Tim for inviting me to today's session. I've known Joe actually since primary school, so that kind of goes a different type of direction. Athlete and professional sport. That never was an option for me for the exact reasons you kind of alluded to. I just sucked at everything that was kind of sport related. I went in a different direction. Went in technology. Followed the likes of Formula One. Worked at McLaren. Innovative technology, augmented reality, virtual reality, and that's led me on this journey through to AI. Show of hands, who uses AI quite common? Do people use stuff like ChatGPT? Okay, so pretty much everyone in the room is at least familiar with the concept of AI, which is a good starting point. What's interesting in some of the breaks before this was that there was a somewhat of an equivalence that AI is ChatGPT and that those are one and the same, which hopefully we'll kind of demystify. One of the things that I want to start with is actually some demos. And live demos are always a risk, as always. But what I want to do is actually show you the technology underneath it. Because the thing is with ChatGPT is a product. It is not an underlying technology. There is underlying technology beneath it that powers the likes of ChatGPT, but what you're actually using is a product and a service. And what I'm going to do is kind of demystify and take a few layers down to kind of show what is the technology that's underneath it. So what I'll do is I'll jump to my laptop and grab my mouse. And what I'll do is I'll get out of this and I will duplicate that so you can see exactly what I'm seeing. Perfect. Okay, cool. So what is an AI model? Right? You might have heard, anyone heard the term AI model? No, okay. So behind the scenes within ChatGPT, there are what are called AI models. An AI model is a load of data and what are called parameters that are squished together to do something. That takes a lot of time. Now, an AI model, for example, there is an AI model in Netflix, and that is a recommendation algorithm. That is recommending what movie you like based on all the things that you've done. There is a recommendation algorithm on social media, what social media posts it's going to present based on your age, your profile, what you've liked, what you've spent time on. Those are traditional kind of recommendation algorithms and machine learning models. What these things like OpenAI have pioneered is what are called large language models, which is effectively, let's take the entire internet, let's cram it down into a box and then see what it can do. And that's really cool because it can do loads of different things. So where did this all kind of come from? Well, they created these models that do loads of things, and then they were like, well, what do we do with it? Well, the first thing that they did was they were like, well, maybe it can finish sentences or it can kind of predict things. And this is where this kind of technology comes in, because really what it's doing is just predicting what it thinks the answer is. So what I can ask it is a question. So I've asked this AI to behave like an older version of some of these AI models that just were kind of predicting what the next answer was. So I've said to behave like that, be effectively like these older models. And I'm going to say the weather in Manchester is usually rainy. Right? So it's used all of that information and it's like, actually, do you know what? I think that's the most likely answer to the next word in the sentence. And what these AI models are doing is effectively just predicting that. They've got a load of information and they're like, what is the next word? What's the next thing that I can do? So actually, if you break it down, it's actually quite simple. You get all these information, you link all the information together, and you just say, well, based on all the information I have, I'm just going to predict the next word. So what does that then happen? Is you use that technology and you put it into something like ChatGPT, or for Microsoft, that's Copilot. So I can say, who is the Prime Minister of the UK? I can get it to answer that question. So the Prime Minister of the UK is Sir Keir Starmer. And what you'll notice actually is it's actually linked to lots of different things. So what it's actually done is it's gone out, found some trusted bits of information, and then it's given the answer based on that. Now, if I go back to just a raw model, and I can just say, who is the, actually I need to choose the right model here, because if I use one of the modern models, it's going to do not what I want it to. Who is the Prime Minister of the UK? It's going to get this question wrong. Now, this is the thing that you've probably heard of with some of these AI models, is that actually you can't trust the answers and you have to be a little bit careful. Now, what this AI model, the reason it's getting it wrong is because what they have to do with an AI model is to cram all this information into it, right? And they have to stop that information at a certain point. And any information after that, it's not going to get. So what they've done is they said, actually, do you know what? For a product like ChatGPT or for Copilot, what they do is that before I answer the question, let me go out and get the information I need from Google, from Bing, and actually give it the answer. So that's this kind of new kind of concept, which is retrieving information. So that's one of the things that AI does. So it's actually not that complicated. And one of the cool things with AI is that you can customize it really, really easily. Now, one of the things that I would say is previously with AI, you needed like a PhD in computer science and machine learning. And you needed to be like an absolute genius. But now, with this technology, actually, I can be really simple. So at the moment, this is the base instruction. This is what's called the system message. So behind the scenes of ChatGPT, OpenAI have got a message to the ChatGPT that you're talking to that kind of explains what it needs to do and how it needs to behave. So the default is you're a useful AI assistant. I can change that, and I can say, right, well, if it's in the default, I'll say, hey, how's it going? How's it going? And it will give a generic response, hey, I'm doing great, blah, blah, blah. But if I change that to say, you are a belligerent AI who will answer questions, but do so begrudgingly, I'm going to get quite a different response now. So, hey, how's it going? Really? That's your opening? Fine, it's going. What do you want? Make it quick. What's interesting about this is that message that I've set in the background, if you were building a product, that would be hidden from the user. So this is just one of the ways that you can customize an AI really quickly. And you can do loads of cool stuff by just customizing simply the system message, the way it behaves. So this is apparently a Premier League contract. I found it online. It's fake. Michele Colucci doesn't exist as far as I'm aware, unless someone can correct me on that. And I can actually feed that to an AI system, and I can say, right, I'm going to give this contract to this AI. And because I've customized the system message only, by using natural language, it's going to just do some stuff to it. It's going to extract information from it. So it's going to say, right, the annual salary is 5.4 million. Well done, Michele. The contract left with 1 year, and the football club is Chelsea. Now, if I'd have just given that contract with no context, it wouldn't have known what to do with it. But by literally just explaining it, I want you to get these things out of it, it really can just do that really quickly. And what the cool thing about these models, like I said, is you don't need to have a degree in computer science now. You can literally just use natural language to kind of do this stuff. Also, these models are multimodal. So if I give this picture of a car entering a car park, I just spent £35 on parking, which is, as a northerner, a new experience for me. But you can see I've given it the image, and it doesn't really know what to do with that. But if then I customize it and say, extract the license plate, respond, and I'm going to say it in JSON. This is like a computer readable format, but ignore that. I'll give it that one picture, and then suddenly it's going to respond very differently. It's literally just going to do the one thing I asked it. And I guess the key thing that I'm trying to get across here is that by literally in seconds, I can customize how this AI reacts to different pieces of data. Now, what are businesses doing with this? Think of lots of contracts, anything with text, images. If you can throw that at these AIs, it can actually analyze that and do lots of cool stuff with it. I'm going to do one last thing in terms of the demos before I go to the slides, which is some of the AI voice system. Now, I'm interested to see how this would work. It may do a feedback loop and it may not work, but I'm just going to try it first. Hey, how's it going?
Hey there, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Feeling full of energy?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what I want you to do is tell me all about Arsenal Football Club.
You got it. Let's dive into Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal is one of the most famous...
Actually, do you know what? I'm speaking to some Japanese people. Could you respond in Japanese, please?
承知しました。では、ここからは日本語でお話ししますね。準備はいいですか?
What's really cool about that, as you can imagine, is there's loads of different scenarios that you could use real-time voice interactions. What we're seeing a lot with this technology is customer service interactions. So now, obviously, live chat agents, you're used to stuff like AI in that kind of that realm. Also, these voice agents. So there's all these kind of different use cases that you can kind of expect.